Hey, what's up everyone, it's Hardware Geek and welcome back to my another video. Today I'm gonna review the MSI Alpha 15 AMD Advantage Edition that comes with latest Ryzen 7 5800H CPU and Radeon RX 6600M GPU. But before moving further, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any of my future videos. So let's get started. But first have a look at its specifications. It comes with AMD Ryzen 7 5800H CPU with 8 cores and 16 threads, as well as AMD Radeon RX 6600M GPU with 8GB VRAM, a 15.6-inch Full HD IPS display with 144Hz of refresh rate, 16GB x16 dual channel RAM with a frequency of 3200 MHz, and finally 1TB of M.2 NVMe SSD. So starting with design and build quality. According to the manufacturer, the black chassis of this notebook is made from metal. It is fairly strong in terms of rigidity, while the specs show a height of 24mm and a weight of 2.35 kg. Pretty much right at the standard for a gaming laptop. Interestingly, much like Asus and their ROG and TUF brands, MSI uses another logo for their Alpha laptops. It is located in the middle of the lid and looks pretty good. Thankfully, the lid can be opened with the single hand. Additionally, it is pretty resistant to flex. Here, the side bezels are pretty thin, in contrast to the pronounced chin at the bottom. On the opposite side, though, you will find the HD web camera. As far as the keyboard goes, you get two options, one with a red backlight as well as an RGB unit. Despite that, both devices have the same relatively long key travel and clicky feedback. Moreover, it features a number pad section and rather large arrow keys. Then there is the touchpad. Honestly, it is decent with fast and accurate tracking. However, we find it unimpressive as the clicking mechanism has a dead zone before it registers your clicking input. On the bottom panel, you can clearly see the huge ventilation grills. They are joined by a couple of speaker cutouts on the bottom panel. As for the heat exhaust, it happens from 3 vents, 2 on the back and 1 on the left side. To the ports, on the left side there is a charging plug, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, a USB 2.0 Type A port. Then on the right, you will find a RJ45 connector, an HDMI connector, a USB Type-C port with DisplayPort connectivity, and another USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port and an audio jack. As far as the upgradability goes, you get 2 RAM SODIMM slots for up to 64GB in total, working in dual channel. As for the storage, you get 2 M.2 PCI Export slots. Finally, there is the cooling. MSI uses only 2 heat pipes for the CPU. On the other hand, the graphic card is cooled by 3 heat pipes, 2 of which are also used to cool the VRMs. There is an additional heat pipe for the graphic memory. MSI Alpha 15's IPS display has a Full HD resolution, comfortable viewing angles and a good contrast ratio. Moreover, it covers 93% of sRGB, 70% of Adobe RGB, 72% of NTSC and 72.5% of DCI-P3. And its backlight doesn't use PWM or brightness adjustment. Not only does it have a good color accuracy, but its default settings are great for gamers in terms of pixel response time. Now moving to the laptop thermals. So while doing a stress test with CPU and GPU running at the max performance and when maxing out in turbo mode, it peaked to a CPU temperature of 95 degrees and GPU temperature of 74 degrees. Now conducting the battery test with Windows Better Performance setting turned on, screen brightness adjusted to 120 nits and all other programs turned off except the one we are testing the notebook with. This device 90 Wh battery pack lasts for 10 hours and 41 minutes of web browsing and 9 hours and 41 minutes of video playback. Now for the CPU, it have Ryzen 7 5800H, which is an octa-core processor that boosts up to 4.4 GHz. It is not only fast but also very power efficient at lower power modes and is pretty much one of the most desirable CPU in laptop market these days. So, to know more about its performance in day-to-day usage, let's get into the performance charts and we'll kick off the benchmarking as usual with a look at the Cinebench R20 multi-threading. The Ryzen 7 5800H is significantly faster than any previous Ryzen CPUs, coming in a substantial 8% faster than Ryzen 7 4800H and nearly 9% ahead of i7-11800H. While AMD is ahead than Intel in multi-threading, single-thread performance is a stronghold of Intel with 11800H being 4% ahead of 5800H, indicating that the Willow Cove and Zen 3 have similar IPC in this workload. You will see similar margins in Cinebench R23, though this doesn't change much from our Cinebench R20 conclusion. Handbrake is more favorable for AMD compared to the Cinebench. In our benchmark run, the 5800H ended up 14% faster than the Core i7-11800H, making 11800H more around the mark of 35W Ryzen 7 5800HS, suggesting Tiger Lake is less efficient in this power class than Ryzen 5000. In CPU-based rendering with Blender, the 11800H is a bit faster than the Ryzen 7, 15% faster in this particular workload, comparing Ryzen 7 to Core i7. We see only 2% performance improvement over the previous generation of H-series processors. This so far tells us that the Ryzen 7 5800H is a really compelling CPU of this year, taking lead over the i7-11800H in most of the tasks. For the GPU, it comes with Radeon RX 6600M that is based on RDNA2 architecture and comes with 8GB VRAM, configured at 100W of max TGP. Now moving to some gaming tests, here are the results. Finally, the verdict, what I think about this laptop. You know, I don't feel that this is the laptop that screams bang for your buck. Its design is basically recycled, the hardware is good but definitely not great. Well, it will run all the AAA titles out there at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I love to see the revived competition between AMD and Nvidia, but I am eager to test more devices to see if Team Red can overthrow its opponent. At the end of the day, though, the display is great and the battery life is good enough for you to consider this as more than your daily driver. Now, if you want to buy this laptop, then you can find the best buying links in the description box below. You can check them out. So this will do for the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and share my video and make sure you do subscribe the channel. See you here another time. Until then, goodbye.